Welcome to a crucial session for every director tuning in. Today, we're really dissecting the art of script notes. We're looking at them not as mere critique, or editing, but more as a strategic roadmap, a way to unlock the most powerful, truly transformative performances from your actors. This isn't about changing the script itself. It's about igniting the performance with precision, purpose, and, profound impact.
Indeed. And that's a critical distinction. This work is never about rewriting a script. That's simply not the director's role in this particular context. It's really about realigning a character's inherent purpose with their raw, relentless drive. As directors using this technique, your responsibility, your profound responsibility, is to excavate this drive, to bring it forth into every single moment. And importantly, never to critique the language itself. The words belong to the writer. That's their domain. But the intention behind them, the relentless fight for what the character wants that is unequivocally yours to shape and guide.
Okay, so you're really emphasizing that the director's role here is fundamentally distinct from, say, a script doctor. We're not polishing dialogue or messing with structure. We are, like you said, transformation strategists. Our mission, then, is to deepen the actor's understanding of how to truly win the scene, to empower them, maybe, to fight smarter, fuel their actions harder, and really rise above any tendency towards passive victimhood. Because that can creep in, can't it?
Oh, absolutely it can. And that's exactly it. When applied correctly, your notes are meticulously designed to elevate strategy, to sharpen tangible behavior, what we actually see the actor doing, and to expand the stakes within a scene, make them feel massive. They should never, under any circumstances, flatten the writer's original voice. That's sacrosanct. Nor should they reduce a scene to mere emotional indulgence. Emotional indulgence on screen, well, I assure you, it often becomes inert. It just sits there, disengages the audience completely. It's the purposeful use of emotion, channels into action, that truly captivates.
Right. And to achieve this kind of impact, this session will be revealing how to leverage the Chubbuck technique as your compass, which means tapping into its core elements: objective, substitution, inner objects, obstacles, beats, and stakes. These are the powerful tools, really, that allow you to transform words on a page into actionable, compelling power. And you remind us, actors don't need comfort in our notes, do they? That's not the goal. They demand clarity, absolute purpose, and potent psychological ammunition.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Comfort serves no one in this pursuit. Not the actor, not the character, not the story, and certainly not the audience. Compelling high-stakes performance doesn't come from comfort. Your notes are not intended to make an actor feel good. They are intended to provide the necessary framework, the structure for them to fight for their character's life. It's about empowering their choices, making those choices precise, dangerous, and utterly unavoidable for the character they inhabit. We are, in effect, giving them the weaponry for their battle.
Okay, let's begin then with the absolute foundation, the bedrock, really, of any compelling performance: the objective. When you're guiding an actor, what is the character truly fighting for in this specific moment? Not generally, but right now. What primal, non-negotiable need is driving them forward, dictating every action, every breath, every glance?
This question is paramount. It's everything. Your notes most pinpoint the character's core want with, surgical precision. What are they willing to risk, to destroy, or even to sacrifice entirely to get it? If that hunger, that driving necessity, isn't visibly fueling the scene, making it crackle with energy, then your note must excavate it. You have to dig it out. It must bring that objective forth like a sharpened weapon, making it undeniable, palpable, felt. We simply cannot afford for it to be a vague idea or no mere preference. It has to be a visceral, burning, do-or-die need.
So as directors, how do we diagnose those dead zones you mentioned earlier? Those moments where a performance might feel like it's just floating, lacking that anchor?
You observe the behavior closely. Look for actions that are vague, ambiguous, or just lack any real urgency. When the intention behind a line or a movement feels soft, indecisive, or just generic. These are the dead zones of performance. Truly great acting never resides in generalities. It lives and breathes in razor-sharp specificity. As directors, you must drill down. Get into the nitty-gritty. Find the precise psychological need that fuels each and every moment the character experiences. If you see an actor just indicating an emotion showing sad or showing angry, rather than pursuing a specific tangible goal, that is your critical cue. That's when you step in. The goal is always what they are doing to get what they want, always action.
And this leads us directly to the inherent danger of simply performing emotion, doesn't it? It sounds like you're saying if an actor doesn't know exactly what they're fighting for, who they're trying to win over, or dominate, or escape from, or punish, or save, then they'll inevitably default to just showing an emotion, like putting on a mask of sadness.
Precisely. They will default to mere emotional display rather than active, actionable behavior. And let me be unequivocally clear. Emotional display on screen, 9 times out of 10, falls flat, feels inauthentic, inert, dead. Emotion is never the point in itself. Getting what the character needs, that is the sole objective, the only objective that matters. When an actor just feels without a clear purpose driving that feeling, it becomes self-indulgent. It really does. It ceases to compel an audience because there's no visible struggle, no identifiable fight. What the audience craves, what they lean in for, is witnessing a human being in relentless pursuit, watching a desperate attempt to achieve something absolutely vital.
Okay, so our task as directors is to help the actor articulate that want so viscerally, so deeply, that it becomes as essential as oxygen. It's not a preference, like you said, or a vague desire. It's a do-or-die necessity. And that is the moment, isn't it, when a scene truly begins to pulse. When we, as an audience, we lean in, captivated, because we're witnessing a human being driven to do whatever it takes to survive something profoundly personal and real. It makes the stakes immediate.
Absolutely immediate. Your note must help the actor name that objective with absolute clarity and make it resonate with a deep primal hunger. Is the character fighting to win love, to assert dominance, to reclaim dignity, to avoid abandonment, maybe seek revenge? Is it about being chosen, being right, being free? You must help them name it, define it, and then critically, you must raise the stakes, raise them to a life or death level. Because only when failure is truly catastrophic, truly unbearable, will the fight become desperate enough to compel an audience.
Right. Could you maybe give us a concrete example or two, a note that really accomplishes this, moving beyond that vague desire to an urgent, specific need?
Okay, consider this first example. You might say to an actor, can you clarify what she truly needs from him right here in this beat? Is this about finally being seen, truly seen, or is it about being loved, or maybe forgiven? Or is she trying to win him back desperately, or perhaps even punish him for the abandonment that completely gutted her identity? Either way, it's not casual, it's war. Make the need more urgent, more painful, more necessary. Then we'll see what she's truly willing to do to get it. See how that directs the actor to a specific high-stakes objective? It transforms what could be a general interaction into a desperate battle for survival.
Yeah, absolutely. That's much sharper.
Or another instance. Imagine a scene, say, where a character is trying to get a loan from a bank. A weak objective is just to get the money. Flat. A powerful note might be, okay, what does this money represent to you? Is it the last possible chance to save your family's home? Or maybe to fund a medical procedure that's literally a matter of life or death for someone you love? If you walk out of this office without that money, what actually happens? Does your entire future collapse? Does someone you care deeply about die? Make this less about a transaction and much more about survival. Fight like hell to keep your world from completely falling apart. These notes, you see, transform general intent into urgent, specific action. They make the character's fight palpable, visceral.
That's incredibly powerful. It really takes a generalized performance and elevates it, doesn't it, into urgent, specific, and deeply personal action.
Precisely. Defining the objective is the first, absolutely essential step. It unlocks a truly compelling performance. It gives the actor a clear target for all their energy and all their emotion.
Okay, so once that primal do-or-die need, the objective, is established, how do we then ignite the actor's personal engine? How do we connect the fictional world of the script to their deepest, most authentic truth? This, I assume, leads us to the power of substitution.
Substitution, yes. This is the gateway. The gateway to psychological truth for the actor. Your notes, as a director, must guide the actor, gently but firmly. Guide them to connect the fictional circumstances of the script to their own deeply lived emotional reality. This isn't about just being generally emotional, remember? This transforms their pursuit of the objective into an absolute, undeniable necessity for them, the actor. When the character's need echoes the actor's own deepest, sometimes unresolved desires or fears, the performance becomes imbued with an authentic, visceral urgency, something that simply cannot be faked or just performed technically. It becomes deeply, profoundly personal.
So it's not enough then to simply find a vaguely similar situation from their life. You're pushing for something far deeper, something with real emotional resonance for them personally.
Far deeper. Yes, you're not merely searching for a vaguely similar situation. That's superficial. You are seeking the deepest, most potent emotional parallel the actor can access from their own lived experience, their own history. Who in their actual life do they still desperately need validation from, even now? Who has abandoned them, betrayed them, underestimated them in a way that still stings? What specific relationship in their past, or maybe even their present, can mirror the intense stakes of the scene? We are, in effect, excavating the raw material of their own history, the unhealed wounds, the burning desires, the unresolved conflicts. The personal resonates with universal truth, but only when it is specific and deeply felt by the actor.
And that then becomes the true engine, the thing propelling the words they speak in the scene.
Indeed, that is the person they are truly speaking to, deep within their internal world, even if physically they are interacting with another actor on set. That is the authentic, undeniable engine propelling the words they speak, fueling their every action, every micro-expression. When the actor feels that deep, personal connection, the performance transcends mere acting. It becomes a profound act of truth-telling, really. Their internal world becomes a live wire, directly feeding the character's relentless fight for their objective.
So when we give notes regarding substitution, we shouldn't just offer a general instruction like, personalize this. That's too vague. We need to be much more precise in guiding. But what if an actor struggles? What if they can't immediately find a direct personal link? How do we guide them then?
Absolutely. Vague notes are useless here. When you give notes on substitution, do not simply utter personalize this. It gives the actor nowhere specific to go. It's frustrating for them. You must guide them with precision to the most provocative, raw, and ultimately useful emotional hook. If an actor struggles, you might guide them with questions. Gentle, probing questions. Who's the last person on earth you would ever want to disappoint in this specific way? Or, who always made you feel inadequate no matter what you did, and what did you crave from them that you never got? Or maybe, think of a moment you were profoundly underestimated. What was that burning desire deep inside you to prove them wrong? The substitution should hurt a bit, because it truly matters to them. It should bring to the surface unresolved needs and unhealed wounds. But crucially, not for self-indulgent catharsis or simply to cry on cue. It's purely as fuel for the character's fight for their objective. It's about channeling personal history into dynamic, purposeful action within the scene.
Okay. Could you provide a couple of examples of such precise notes for substitution to make it really concrete?
Of course. Let's take that scene again. The young professional being reprimanded by their boss. Instead of a flat note like, play it like your boss is angry, a powerful substitution note would be, okay, instead of playing this as just a boss reprimanding an employee, what if you substituted your father? Or maybe a significant mentor, someone whose respect you craved, but who never truly acknowledged your capabilities. Think about that specific moment, maybe when you were a kid and you brought home something you were profoundly proud of and they just dismissed it completely, crushed you. That specific shame, that burning desire to finally be seen as worthy and competent, that's the real hunger driving you right now. That's what makes you fight to prove yourself in this moment. Don't just act it, fight with that unresolved need.
Wow, yeah, that lands differently.
Here's another. A character is pleading for forgiveness. A surface note might be beg more, weak. A Chubbuck note might be, look, this isn't just about saying sorry. This is about saving a relationship that fundamentally defines who you are. Think of someone you genuinely deeply hurt, someone you betrayed. Remember the utter gut-wrenching despair of thinking you'd lost them forever. That specific, visceral fear of total abandonment, of losing a core piece of yourself. That's what you're fighting against right now. Let that person from your life be the one you are truly desperate to win back in this scene. These notes clearly define the personal, emotional wellspring for the actor's performance. They give them deep personal stakes to engage with.
That immediately transforms an external interaction into an internal personal battle, doesn't it? It makes the fight for the objective feel visceral and absolutely necessary. It makes the actor embody the fight rather than merely portray it.
Exactly. Substitution, when wielded with this kind of precision, injects profound personal stakes and authentic urgency into every single moment.
Okay. And once that personal engine is ignited through substitution, how do we then arm the actor? Give them immediate, potent emotional triggers that fuel their actions without derailing their core purpose. This brings us, I think, to inner objects.
Inner objects, yes.
Yeah.
These are quite simply the critical emotional ammunition, the bullets in the gun, if you will. They're what actors deploy to fight for their objective with full psychological voltage. Your notes in this area prompt the actor with a crucial question. What are the specific images or memories that drive this scene for you personally? What deeply personal visual triggers can you, the actor, call upon to flood your body with authentic emotional urgency? But, and this is key without ever derailing your core purpose, your objective, these are not abstract feelings. They are concrete, internal stimuli, like a private film playing constantly in the actor's mind's eye.
So these are much more than just general memories, then. They have a very specific, powerful, and sensory quality.
Indeed, they must. The most effective inner objects are sensory-rich, high-stakes moments pulled directly from the actor's own life. Images that carry the searing weight of shame or the burning fire of rage, the gut-wrenching pain of heartbreak, maybe profound longing, the humiliation of a past failure, the sting of betrayal, or even the surge of a past triumph. They must be so vividly clear, so detailed that the actor can literally see them play out like a film in their mind's eye, a private internal screening, complete with sounds, smells, physical sensations. The clarity and the sensory detail are absolutely key. It's not enough to think sadness. You must see the face of the person who betrayed you, the exact pattern of the wallpaper in the room where a painful truth was revealed.
And these inner objects must always be tethered directly to the scene's core intention, correct? That seems crucial. They aren't meant for self-indulgent emotional display. They are a tool for action.
Absolutely correct. Crucially, they must always be tethered directly to the scene's core intention, to the objective the character is fighting tooth and nail for. It is never enough to simply feel that emotion generated by the inner object. That's just step one. The actor must, with intention, use that feeling to do something, to propel their actions, to sharpen their tactics, to fuel their fight for the objective. That, my friends, that is the fundamental difference between self-indulgence, which is death on screen, and true impact. Without that active purpose, the emotion is just a performance piece, not a strategic tool to get what the character desperately needs.
Can you give us an example or two of notes that guide an actor to use inner objects effectively, connecting them directly to their objective in the scene?
Yeah, consider this for a character delivering a monologue about past injustices. When you speak of this betrayal, what specific image comes sharply into your mind? Could you picture the exact moment you discovered the lie?
Yeah.
The way they looked at you, maybe avoiding your eyes, the way your stomach just dropped, the precise detail that made it undeniably real. Let that image run like a film reel behind your eyes as you speak. Let it sting. Let it press you to win this argument, to ensure you never ever feel that powerless again, to take back what was stolen. Use that image not to perform grief, but to fuel your desperate need to assert control now.
Very specific.
Another example. A character is trying to conceal deep sadness while presenting a brave face. A note might be, okay, when you try to smile, what image flashes in your mind of the moment you lost everything? Is it the empty room, the last letter they sent, the sound of a final goodbye on the phone? Let that visual flood your senses, the raw pain of it, and then actively fight against revealing it. Use that inner object to create the intense, palpable suppression. That makes your struggle to appear fine so compelling for the audience. The inner object isn't for showing the sadness. It's for fueling the fight not to show it. These notes give the actor powerful, internal, actionable triggers directly linked to their strategic objective in the scene.
That's fantastic. So inner objects aren't just mere memories then. They're targeted, psychological charges, ammunition, like you said, fueling the character's active pursuit and strategic behavior within the scene.
They are precisely that. ammunition for the characters' fight for their very survival, moment to moment.
Okay, so with the core drive established via objective, the personal engine ignited with substitution, and the actor armed with inner objects, how do we ensure the scene has dynamic flow, constant forward momentum? How does it respond to every challenge the character faces? This brings us to beats and the concept of tactical shifts.
Beats, yes. And this is where many get confused. Beats are not merely changes in emotion. That's a common and frankly dangerous misconception. Beats are fundamental changes in tactic, in strategy. Every single time the character encounters resistance, which we call an obstacle, they must shift their strategy. They have to try something different. And with every tactical shift, a new beat begins. This is not about layering emotion upon emotion that just leads to a messy, unclear, and ultimately unwatchable performance. It is about relentlessly sharpening the character's fight, making it agile, responsive, strategic, always adapting.
So our script notes need to illuminate precisely where these changes in tactics occur, and just as importantly, why they occur. What's the mechanism behind a beat change? What triggers it?
Exactly. You must pinpoint what specific obstacle is forcing this shift. What isn't working for the character in their current approach? Why do they need to change tack? And then what is the character's next deliberate strategic move to overcome that resistance and get closer to what they want? A tactical beat change signifies the precise moment a character recalibrates, pivots, maybe escalates their efforts to get what they need. That truly is the dynamic heartbeat of a scene. It's the ebb and flow of the character's battle, constantly adapting, constantly trying new ways to win. Without these shifts, the scene becomes monotonous, predictable. The character feels static, stuck.
And what's our role as directors in helping the actor engage with this concept practically, in rehearsal and then on set during performance?
You must encourage your actors to actively mark these beats directly in their script. Physically mark them, and critically, to name the precise tactic they are switching to. This is where the specificity comes in again. For example, the character might shift from seduction, tactic A, to guilt, tactic B, from pleading, tactic C, to manipulation, tactic D, from denial, tactic E, to confrontation, tactic F, from charming to threatening. Naming the tactic forces conscious choice. It keeps the performance vibrant, alive, and highly strategic, always seeking, always adapting to overcome whatever's in their way. It makes the actor a proactive player in the scene, a strategist, not just someone passively reacting to events.
Right. Can you provide a couple of examples of notes that help clarify beats and tactical shifts for an actor, making that change really land?
Certainly. For a scene where a character is trying to convince someone of something, you might say, okay, right here, see this line. You go from trying to charm her with your wit to trying to guilt her into compliance. Mark that beat clearly in your script. Name the new tactic, guilt. Now, what specific obstacle forces you to change your tactic? Is her resistance solidifying right before this line? What isn't working that pushes you to shift? And what's the new game you're playing, the new approach, the new tactic to win this specific moment?
Making them identify the why.
Always the why. Or consider a character trying desperately to avoid a difficult conversation. A note could be, okay, at this point, his direct question cuts right through your evasiveness. Your tactic of distraction is clearly failing. It's not working. Your next beat is to actively deflect. How? Maybe by turning the blame back on him or by feigning indignation. Name that new tactic in your script. Deflect or accuse. Make that shift deliberate, conscious. It's your next strategic move to protect yourself from exposure. These notes directly engage the actor in tactical thinking. They make each shift a deliberate, conscious choice, not just some accidental emotional fluctuation.
That note instantly clarifies the character's evolving strategy. It transforms what might otherwise be perceived as just vague emotional shifts into purposeful action against obstacles. It makes the performance truly dynamic, moment by moment.
It makes the character a warrior for their objective, constantly adapting their battle plan, not merely a victim of their feelings of the circumstances around them.
Okay, so with all this surgical precision in our notes, sharpening every action, every tactical shift, how do we ensure that we are profoundly honoring the writer's original words? This seems like a delicate balance. This brings us to preserving the writer's voice while profoundly sharpening intention. How do we do both?
Understand this, directors, and understand it deeply. You are not rewriting the scene. Let me repeat that. You are not the writer here. Your role is not to change the dialogue itself, but to fundamentally change the use of that dialogue by the actor. You are sharpening the actor's inherent purpose within the framework the writer has already meticulously provided. You are guiding the actor to unearth the urgency, the specific agenda, the often hidden power play buried beneath the lines the writer wrote, and then to pursue that purpose with relentless precision. The words remain the same. Their driving force, their profound impact becomes undeniable.
So, in essence, the words are simply vehicles, like we touched on. What truly matters is how the actor drives them, their destination, their objective, and the manner of their journey, their tactics.
Precisely. Every monologue, every speech, every poetic flourish, every seemingly casual line must be grounded in precise strategy. Your notes must provoke the actor to ask, why is the character saying this specific word, this specific phrase now? What are they trying to achieve with it? What specific outcome are they desperately trying to shape with these particular words? Who are they attempting to manipulate, to seduce, to punish, to save, maybe even destroy through this language? These are the crucial questions. They clarify the character's actionable intent within the writer's chosen words, giving the language a profound strategic purpose beyond its surface meaning or inherent beauty.
And you've highlighted a critical, almost counterintuitive point here, which I find fascinating. The more beautiful the writing, the more potentially dangerous it can become for an actor. How do we, as directors, navigate that paradox?
This is a critical point, yes, and one many directors miss. It's a dangerous trap. The more beautiful the writing, the more seductive its lyricism, the more dangerous it can become. Why? Because actors can easily get lost. They get seduced by the sheer elegance of the prose, by the poetry of the words themselves, and in that seduction, they forget to fight. They start performing the beauty. Your vital role, directors, your sacred job really is to anchor them back to the objective, to forcefully remind them that beauty is not the point, winning is. The beauty of the language should serve the character's battle, enhance their tactics, not overshadow it or become an end in itself.
Right. Can you offer a couple of notes that help an actor navigate this delicate balance, honoring the text's beauty while maintaining that driving intention?
Absolutely. Let's say a character has a lyrical, reflective monologue. A note could be, okay, this monologue is poetic, it's truly beautiful writing, but don't get lost in the sheer artistry of the words. What are you doing with these words right now to the other person or even to yourself? Are you using this poetry to seduce the other person into believing your version of events? Are you subtly convincing someone not to leave you, using your eloquence as a weapon of persuasion? Or perhaps you're trying to dismiss them before they can reject you, cloaking your own pain in these beautiful phrases. Pick a strong, active mission. Attach your words to a specific agenda. Otherwise, you're just performing a lovely poem, not a scene with immediate life-altering consequences.
That makes sense. Grounding the poetry in action.
Exactly. Another example, maybe for a scene with very witty, sharp dialogue. Your lines here are incredibly clever and cutting, fantastic writing. But remember, the wit isn't just for applause from the audience. It's a shield, perhaps. Or maybe it's a sword. What are you protecting with these sharp words? What vulnerability are you hiding? Or what are you actively attacking? Are you trying to destabilize your opponent with your cleverness? Or prevent them from seeing how scared you really are? Let the brilliance of the dialogue serve your strategic objective in the scene, not just entertain. These notes preserve the writer's brilliant words while imbuing them with profound strategic intent. They ensure the language serves the character's fight.
That's a masterful way to put it. Preserving the writer's voice by imbuing every word with clear, strategic intent. Ensuring language serves the character's fight, not just its inherent beauty. The words are the architecture, you said. The fight is the lifeblood within it.
Exactly. The words gain true, resonant power only when they are deployed with ruthless intention.
Okay. If the character's relentless fight for their objective is the engine driving the scene, what is the fuel? What makes that engine burn brightest? What's the force that compels us, the audience, to watch, to line in, to truly invest? That, of course, is the stakes.
Stakes, yes. They are not a luxury item. They are the essential fuel, the high-octane fuel that ignites intention, drives urgency, and demands transformation. Every single moment, every beat should feel as though something profoundly vital is on the line for the character. If a character can simply walk away from a scene unchanged, whether they succeed or fail in their objective, then that moment is inert. It's dead weight in the story. It has no impact. Stakes transmute mere dialogue into desperation. They turn casual subtext into psychological warfare. They elevate passive action into raw survival. They made everything matter profoundly. They provide the audience with a powerful reason to care deeply about the outcome.
So without real, tangible consequences, there's just no engine. The scene falls flat and the audience inevitably disengages.
Precisely. Without real consequences, there is no engine. Zero propulsion. There's no compelling reason for the character to fight so hard, no friction for them to push against, and absolutely nothing for the audience to invest in emotionally. Why should they care if nothing is truly at risk? Your script note must provoke the actor. Provoke them to raise the stakes dramatically, to truly feel the potential loss in their bones. The character's world, their identity, their future must hang precariously in the balance in that scene.
What are the crucial questions we as directors should be asking the actor and ourselves to help clarify and internalize those stakes? What different types of stakes should we be exploring?
You must guide them to ask, what will you, the character, truly lose if you do not get what you want right now? Is it your very identity, your sense of self-worth, your reputation, your core belief system shattering? Is it a crucial relationship? The love of your life walking out forever, your family disowning you, your only true friend turning their back? Is it your dignity, your freedom, your control over your own destiny being ripped away? Or perhaps it's something even more primal, more physical, your safety, your life, or the life of someone you are sworn to protect. What is the crushing, unbearable cost of failure in this moment? And is it a price you, the character, simply cannot afford to pay? These are the questions that make the abstract objective concrete, terrifying, and utterly compelling.
And the higher the perceived risk, the more magnetic the performance becomes for the audience. It creates that tension.
Unquestionably, the higher the perceived risk, the more utterly magnetic the performance. Your notes must explicitly raise that threat level, make the potential loss feel overwhelming, almost insurmountable, and then challenge the actor to win in spite of that profound, overwhelming fear. It's the fight against seemingly insurmountable odds, fueled by devastating stakes, that truly captivates and deeply moves an audience. That is the absolute essence of dramatic tension.
Could you offer a couple of examples of notes specifically for clarifying stakes, making them feel real?
Certainly. Let's say a character is making a desperate plea. A note might be, okay, let's talk stakes. What happens if your character fails here? If the answer is nothing significant, then the moment has no engine. It's empty. Does she lose the absolute last thread of hope she's clinging to for dear life? Does he betray his deepest self, sacrifice his soul just to win this moment? Find the consequence that utterly guts them, that leaves them broken or irrevocably changed forever. And let that be the raw, desperate reason they fight like hell to win right now.
Making the what-if terrifying.
Exactly. Another example, for a character confronting a powerful opponent. If you don't get through to them here, if they don't believe you, what is the absolute worst-case scenario? Is it not just embarrassment, but utter professional ruin, complete annihilation, loss of everything you've ever built, the total destruction of your credibility, meaning you can never fight for anything important ever again? Raise the possibility of that devastating cost. Make it real in your mind, and let that sheer terror sharpen your every word, your every tactic. These notes force the actor to connect failure to a devastating personal cost. It makes the fight undeniable.
That immediately transforms an abstract desire into a visceral life-or-death battle. It compels both the actor and the audience to invest deeply in the character's struggle. The stakes make the fight absolutely undeniable.
They make it profoundly human, urgently real, and utterly essential to watch.
Okay, now we've discussed how to build a powerful moment using objective, substitution, inner objects, beats, and stakes. But how do we ensure all these powerful moments coalesce? How do they form a cohesive character journey? Especially given the, let's face it, challenging realities of production schedules. This brings us to tracking the arc across a shoot.
Yes, the arc. Great performances are never static. That's fundamental. They evolve, they transform, they regress sometimes, but they're certainly never repetitive. If a character begins the script angry and ends the script angry, without any discernible shift in their power, their vulnerability, their worldview, then you haven't directed a journey. You've merely supervised a loop, a flat line. As a director, your job is to track that transformation with a laser-like focus. You are the architect, the guardian of their psychological journey, scene by crucial scene.
So our script notes become a meticulously detailed tool for charting this journey, marking the progression and those crucial turning points in their evolution.
Precisely. You must use your script notes to meticulously chart growth, yes, but also regression, profound reversals, and powerful breakthroughs. Look for the pivotal points in the story, those scenes that should unequivocally mark a before and an after in the character's psyche. Identify them clearly. Then you must ensure the actor fully plays the stark contrast between these states. It must be visible, felt, and undeniable to the audience watching. The change needs to land.
And playing the contrast doesn't always mean huge, sweeping changes, does it? Sometimes it can be quite subtle, yet still profoundly impactful.
No, absolutely not. It does not always imply grand, sweeping changes. If they have gained power, yes, the audience must feel that charge, that shift in their physical bearing, their vocal tone. But if they have lost power, we must witness the profound cost. Maybe it's a subtle slump in their shoulders, a new hesitancy in their voice, a flicker of fear in their eyes where confidence once was. Transformation doesn't always mean dramatic, overt shifts. Sometimes it manifests as a subtle erosion of confidence over several scenes, a hairline fracture in a core belief. Or maybe a steadily growing hunger for revenge that begins to simmer quietly beneath the surface. What truly matters is that it is different. The character is not the same. Every single scene is either reinforcing their current state or fundamentally rewriting the character's internal story. It's always moving, always changing, never static.
Can you provide a couple of examples of notes specifically for tracking the arc? Notes that connect a scene to the larger journey.
Consider this. Okay, this scene 58, should mark a significant shift in your character's power dynamic compared to scene 20. How are you profoundly different at the end of this scene than you were at the beginning of it? Have you gained control over a situation you previously thought was hopeless? Have you lost trust in the one person you believed in implicitly, causing a deep internal fracture that changes how you see the world? Have you made a choice right here in this moment that you know you can't take back, something that fundamentally alters your moral landscape going forward? Friend, find that specific moment of transformation within the scene and commit to playing the turn, not just the general emotion around it.
Playing the turn, I like that.
Another example. At the beginning of the script, remember, your character was quite naive, hopeful even. By this scene, scene 75, after the big betrayal in scene 60, that hope should be shattered, gone. It needs to be replaced by a nascent, steely resolve, maybe even bitterness. Yeah. So in this scene, play the death of that old hope. Let us see it vanish, and simultaneously play the birth of this new, harder edge. How does your objective here reflect that fundamental change? What are you fighting for now that you weren't fighting for before, having learned this devastating lesson? These notes explicitly anchor the scene to the larger character journey. They ensure every moment serves a clear purpose in their overall evolution.
That's an excellent way to track the character's evolving objective and stakes across the entire arc. It ensures every scene serves their larger transformation and illuminates their journey. It gives purpose and trajectory to every single moment, not just isolated intensity.
Every moment must serve the larger narrative of change. Otherwise, it's just filler. And we don't have time for filler.
Now, the realities of filmmaking often challenge this linear progression, as you've highlighted. It's rare to shoot in sequence. How do we apply these principles effectively when scenes are shot wildly out of sequence, which is, as we know, the prevailing norm in film and television production?
Yes, this is a critical challenge, a logistical nightmare sometimes. And it's precisely where our strategic, clear notes become most potent, most essential. We, as directors, know that shooting out of sequence is the norm, not the rare exception. Actors frequently do not have the luxury of building their performance chronologically. They might perform their final devastating emotional breakdown on day 3 of shooting, long before they have even shot the scene where their world first begins to unravel, maybe on day 30. This can be profoundly disorienting for an actor. It can completely throw off their sense of emotional and psychological timing if they don't have strong guidance.
And this is exactly where powerful, unequivocally clear, and intensely strategic script notes become absolutely invaluable. They serve as an unwavering compass for the actor navigating this chaos, don't they?
They absolutely do. As a director employing the Chubbuck technique, it is your sacred job, really, to orient the actor. Psychologically, emotionally, tactically, orient them to their precise position in their character's arc for that specific scene. Your notes serve as an unwavering compass in the storm of the shooting schedule, providing the actor with crucial information about their current level of power, their exact emotional state, their beliefs, their wounds, and their evolving objective in that specific moment, regardless of when it's shot. This grounding is essential for consistency and depth.
So we need to ask ourselves, as directors, a series of very specific questions before giving notes for an out-of-sequence scene. Questions to ground ourselves and then the actor.
Exactly. You must relentlessly ask yourself before you even approach the actor. Where exactly is this character right now in their sprawling journey? Have they just suffered a profound loss that still feels incredibly raw? Or have they just gained something significant that has fundamentally shifted their confidence, their swagger? Are they still deep in denial, stubbornly refusing to accept a hard reality? Or have they already shifted into a cold, calculated revenge mode? What do they genuinely believe about themselves and the world in this exact beat? Which wounds are still fresh and openly bleeding, and which ones have already hardened, maybe scabbed over, perhaps even been forged into weapons they're ready to use? These questions help you pinpoint their precise internal landscape for that specific scene, providing crucial context for you and then for them.
And our notes then, armed with that understanding, can anchor the performance to that precise moment in time, ensuring it serves its purpose in the overall arc, even if filmed weeks apart from adjacent scenes.
Your notes possess the power to anchor the actor's substitution, their inner objects and their stakes, to this very specific moment in time. Even if it happens to be the very first scene being filmed on day one, you're expertly helping them step into the correct psychological weather for that scene, fully armed with the emotional tools they need to fight the right battle for that specific moment. Not a battle from later in the story they haven't earned yet, or one from an earlier point that they've theoretically already moved past in the character's journey. This prevents a flat, or worse, an inconsistent and unbelievable performance.
Because without this precise guidance, actors risk playing everything at the same emotional pitch, right? Or worse, playing the end result instead of the organic process of getting there.
Precisely. Without this kind of precise, moment-specific guidance, actors risk playing everything at the same emotional pitch, leading to monotony and a lack of dynamism. Or worse, as you say, playing the result, the anger they feel in the final scene, instead of the organic, evolving process that leads them to that anger. With your masterful, targeted notes, they can construct a nuanced, deeply transformative arc, piece by piece, even when the production schedule itself is pure chaos. You are their trusted guide through the nonlinear labyrinth of filming.
Can you give us an example of a note that specifically helps an actor navigate this out-of-sequence challenge, anchoring them in the now of the scene's place in the story?
Consider this scenario. Okay, listen, this is scene 42 we're shooting today, but story-wise, it's the very first time she's truly realizing deep down, maybe subconsciously, that she's losing him for good. She doesn't know it consciously yet. There's just this deep, unspoken fear starting to bubble up. At this specific point in her arc, she's still desperately using charm as her primary tactic. It's her go-to weapon, a last-ditch effort to keep him close. So for this scene, let's keep the burgeoning grief buried deep, make her fight like hell to maintain control, to appear unaffected, charming, maybe even a little aloof. True. This is the exact moment before the flood of conscious emotion, before the conscious realization hits her later. Play the intense battle to prevent that realization from breaking through right now. This note clearly situates the actor within the character's precise emotional timeline and tactical approach for scene 42, even if they're shooting scene 80, the flood moment, tomorrow.
Your notes truly are the actor's anchor and compass, guiding them precisely within their arc regardless of the shooting order, ensuring consistent and nuanced transformation throughout their entire performance. It's really a testament to the power of specific, informed guidance in the face of those tough production realities.
It is the crucial difference often between a coherent, compelling, evolving performance and one that feels disjointed, emotionally confusing, or just plain flat.
Okay. Having explored all these core principles of effective notes through the Chubbuck technique, objective, substitution, inner objects, beats, stakes, arc, let's crystallize our understanding. Let's draw a clear, undeniable line between what works and what truly hinders a performance. Let's talk frankly about bad notes versus good notes.
Yes, this is vital. Not all notes are created equal. Far from it. In fact, most bad notes, and sadly they are common, do far more harm than good. They confuse the actor. They pull the actor's focus towards a desired result, be sadder, rather than the essential process that leads to that result authentically. Or even worse, they encourage vague emotionality instead of precise, actionable, tactical behavior. A truly good note, a Chubbuck note, sharpens the objective. It clarifies the fight. A bad note blurs it. It makes the performance indistinct, uncompelling, and ultimately, well, meaningless.
So, what defines a bad note? How can we recognize them and rigorously avoid them in our directing practice? What do they sound like?
Bad notes are almost always about the result you, the director, want to see from the actor, rather than the active choices the actor needs to make to create that result organically. They typically sound like commands about feeling. Cry more, be angrier, make it sadder, show me more vulnerability. These notes are fundamentally passive from the actor's perspective. They tell the actor how to feel rather than what to do to achieve that feeling authentically through action and objective. When an actor receives such a note, what do? They will likely push. They'll try to manufacture the emotion. They'll emote instead of making a strategic choice that genuinely affects their scene partner and truly earns the emotional response. This leads directly to inauthentic, often self-indulgent, hollow acting.
Can you give us a couple of concrete examples of bad notes and just break down exactly why they're so detrimental?
Certainly. Let's take this calming one. Try being more emotional here. What does that even mean? It's a direction toward an effect, not its underlying cause. It's shallow, utterly unclear, and will inevitably lead the actor to just perform emotion rather than truly earn it through their character's specific choices and actions. It offers zero actionable guidance. It leaves the actor completely adrift, guessing what you want. Here's another classic bad note, equally damaging. You need to cry here. It's a sad moment. Oh, this one is terrible. This note assumes the emotion. It dictates it. Instead of allowing the actor to earn it through their character's struggle, through their fight for their objective, through the raising of the stakes, it completely bypasses the actor's organic process entirely. It fundamentally robs the actor of their most powerful tool choice. It dictates an outcome rather than guiding a journey, and in doing so, it creates a superficial, often unconvincing performance.
So, a useful rule of thumb for identifying a bad note might be if it could apply to virtually any other scene in any other story without any specific context needed.
Exactly. That's a great rule of thumb. If your note, be more intense, make it bigger, feel it more, could be applied to almost any other scene in any other story in any genre, it is likely a bad note. These generalities leave the actor completely adrift. They lead only to indulgence, a tragic lack of specificity, and ultimately they render the performance inert and unwatchable.
Okay, understood. So how does a good note, a true Chubbuck note, differ fundamentally? What are its defining, powerful characteristics? What makes it work?
A good note, a true Chubbuck note, is the opposite in every way. It is active. It is exquisitely specific. And it is intrinsically tied to the scene's underlying psychological power structure, the wants, the needs, the obstacles, the tactics. It doesn't just inform, it transforms. It clarifies what the character wants, objective. It sets a clear boundary or challenge, obstacle, and it provides a precise, actionable strategy, tactic to overcome it. It reframes the moment entirely, from something to passively feel into something dynamic to win. You are helping the actor find the urgency, the hidden agenda, the profound power play buried beneath the lines, and to pursue that purpose with relentless, specific precision.
And it focuses explicitly on the fight, never just the feeling itself.
Precisely. A good note gives the actor something truly active to do, a precise direction to push in, a formidable opponent to overcome, a deep wound to weaponize, a compelling secret to protect at all costs. It deliberately creates the necessary friction, the tension, the conflict that forces a performance to evolve from passive emotional display to primal active engagement. The internal tug-of-war, that delicious conflict between what the character desperately wants and what they devastatingly cannot have or what they fear losing, that becomes the very birthplace of compelling, authentic behavior. That, my directors, is what forges magnetic, dynamic, high-stakes acting.
The obstacle makes it matter. The internal tug-of-war makes it dangerous. The strategy makes it profoundly human.
Exactly. Beautifully put. That is how you elicit a performance that genuinely moves people. Not because they merely watch someone cry on cue, but because they watch someone bravely refuse to break. Someone fighting with every fiber of their being, using every tool they have until they had absolutely no other choice left. It's the struggle not to cry, the struggle not to give in, the struggle to suppress a profound truth while still fighting for an objective. That is what is truly compelling and deeply human on screen.
Okay. Can you give us a couple of examples of good notes, maybe in direct contrast to the bad ones we heard earlier, just to really solidify this crucial distinction?
Certainly. So instead of the vague and ineffective, try being more emotional here, a powerful good note grounded in Chubbuck principles would be something like, okay, you desperately want them to stay, but your pride, your history, forbids you from outright begging. So use pride itself as a tactic. First, try to subtly seduce them back with charm or shared memories. Then, when that clearly fails on this line, shift tactics. Make them feel guilty for even thinking of leaving. That's the real power play here, to try and keep them. See, this is a precise direction toward behavior. It clearly defines what the character wants. Objective, keep them. It sets a crucial boundary, obstacle, can't beg due to pride, and provides a strategic path. Tactics, seduce, then guilt. That is actionable. That is powerful.
Much clearer.
Or, instead of the counterproductive command, you need to cry here. It's a sad moment. A good note is, this is the precise moment where she realizes she's truly, utterly alone in the world. But her entire survival instinct, everything she is, means she absolutely cannot let him see that profound desperation. So keep the heartbreak, the gut-wrenching despair, ruthlessly suppressed just under the surface. Actively try to act as if you're perfectly fine, maybe even a little cold. Let the breakdown, the tears, if they come from the colossal effort of failing to hold it all in. Let them be the result of the dam finally breaking despite your fierce will to maintain control. Do you perceive the profound difference? This good note focuses explicitly on the fight, the internal struggle for control, not merely the feeling. Its purpose is to activate the actor's willpower, their choices, and propel them toward a clear goal. Hide the pain. With the unwavering intention and strategic thought, it demands an active choice, a fierce internal battle that an audience will lean right into, breathless to witness.
That's a powerful, powerful distinction. Good notes empower actors with choice and strategy, giving them a tangible path to a compelling, earned performance. Bad notes stifle that process by focusing only on superficial emotional results.
The difference is truly transformative for the actor's process, for the character's portrayal, and ultimately for the impact of the scene itself on the audience.
We've covered a profound shift today, I think. A shift in how we approach guiding actors. Moving from mere critique or result-oriented direction to strategic empowerment using these tools. What is the ultimate distilled takeaway for every director listening from this powerful session on the Chubbuck technique and script notes?
The ultimate takeaway is this. Script notes, understood and applied through this lens, are not about control. They're certainly not about telling an actor how to feel. They're about unlocking hunger. They're about embracing danger. They're about fueling profound transformation within the actor and their character. Never, ever direct emotion. Just don't do it. Emotion is a natural byproduct. It's the result of relentless pursuit, of a fierce internal and external struggle against obstacles, fueled by high stakes. It is never the goal itself. The very second you begin to give notes about how to feel, you utterly rob the actor of their most powerful tool choice. You disempower them, and you inevitably lead them towards passive, uncompelling, and often false performances.
So our true focus as directors using this technique should always be on what the character is doing with their emotion, how they leverage it, weaponize it, or maybe fight against it.
Precisely. What we are truly interested in, what makes for compelling drama, is what the character is doing with their emotion. how they effectively weaponize it or deploy it strategically or maybe desperately suppress it in order to achieve a need that feels utterly essential, a need that defines their very existence in that moment. Actors do not need to be told how to feel. That kind of simplistic note leads only to generality and often to self-indulgence. It yields inert, uncompelling performances that ultimately fail to move an audience because they lack specificity and struggle.
They need to know what they are fighting for and what formidable obstacles stand squarely in their way.
That is what they need from you. They need to know with crystal clarity what they are fighting for, objective, and what formidable obstacles, internal and external, stand in their way, threatening to derail them at every single turn. What do they truly stand to lose if they fail? Stakes. What internal wound, what past trauma does this specific moment rip open, making the fight excruciatingly personal? Substitution. Inner objects. What obstacle makes victory feel agonizingly just out of reach, demanding every ounce of their being, forcing tactical shifts, beats? This is where true power lives in a performance, in that struggle. Your note must unequivocally drive the actor toward tactical behavior and actionable, strategic approach that ensures the scene is about profound struggle and undeniable transformation. Because watching someone cry is only truly compelling when they are crying for something they're still desperately trying to get, something they are actively, fiercely fighting for right up until the moment they break. That precisely is the monumental difference between merely performing emotion and truly performing need. Good notes don't tell actors how to feel, they give them a sharper battle to fight.
That's a powerful final thought for any director, giving your actors a clearer, sharper battle to fight. Now, as you prepare for your next shoot or your next rehearsal, perhaps consider which of these Chubbuck elements you might be overlooking in your current approach to notes. Is your actor truly fighting for a life or death objective, or are they maybe just expressing an emotion? Are you guiding them to internalize their struggle, using substitution and inner objects, or just asking them to externalize a feeling? Remember, the deeper, the sharper the battle you help them define, the more profound the victory or the defeat will ultimately feel for everyone watching.